everyone, this is Callimara here, and no, it's not calamari. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new to the pond, go ahead and take a dive. You might like it here. So, if you are an Epic the Musical fan like I am, you probably already know that we now have official merch for the project, and it was a bit underwhelming upon launch. Fan reception was definitely mixed, and while it still managed to sell very well, as there were some items that were already sold out when I checked the store at the time, there were definitely complaints throughout the fan base about the designs available, as well as the bundling deals. And maybe the pricing as well, but I've never really gotten merch for musicals before, so these may very well be within standard pricing. I wouldn't know. But for the items and designs I'm getting, I think I'm good. Now, this absolutely isn't a hate video on Epic the Musical or its creator, because I do love it. You guys know I love it. And Jay has since come up with response videos addressing the feedback and saying that there will now be options for people who don't want the bundle deals, making more budget-friendly options, and offering you designs.
Hello, my friends.
Thank you so much to everyone who participated in the Epic merch drop. It means a lot to us, and we're so thankful for everybody who made a purchase or shared the announcement or participated in any capacity. We've been listening to your feedback about the things you liked, the things you didn't like, and we totally hear you, and we're very thankful for your feedback. Our goals moving forward are, number 1, creating more affordable and accessible merch options. Number 2, doing less bundles so that you guys have more ability to acquire individual pieces of merch. And number 3, getting more creative with the apparel by including more artistic designs. We're excited to incorporate the learnings from this drop onto the next one. Thank you guys so much for your continual support and your feedback. We really want you guys to have the best merch possible, and I love you all.
Bye-bye.
These new designs will be available in collaboration with big-name artists in the fandom like Amber Senpai, Gigi, and Louisa, who are 3 artists he mentioned directly, but apparently there are also more artists involved.
Hello, my friends.
The amazing team at Atlantic Records has been hard at work making new Epic merch with the feedback you gave from the last merch drop. And so we've got a whole bunch of new merch options that come out today. We've got a much more affordable Epic vinyl set where all of the songs have been tightly condensed into 3 vinyl discs. We've got tons of new merch options with designs commissioned from amazing artists like Amber Senpai, Gigi, Louisa, with many more on the way. We've got stickers and posters and mugs and keychains and t-shirts and hoodies and long sleeves and more.
And I'm not one of them. And I think this is something that needs to be corrected. So the purpose of this video is to try and convince Jay, or at least some of his fans, to let me on his creative team. Because as you guys may know, it is my dream to be involved in the production of his projects. I mean, maybe you didn't. I never talk about this. But if you're in my Discord server, you may know that I would really like to play the role of Cassandra in his upcoming production Ilium, so I can have duets with Apollo. But I'll take any creative role he has too. In fact, I'll do you one better. I will also be making mock-ups and actual samples of these designs, and if Jay likes these designs and wants to use them, I will gladly give them to him. And if you like them and want to see them on Epic's official store, maybe nudge this video his way.
On the Epic Musical merch pages, there's a dedicated group of people who post polls where you can vote on how you want merch to look. They post updates on future merch like the Winion plushies, and you can leave feedback on merch over there and they'll take a look at it.
And yes, I know that's probably a long shot, but I am delusional enough to do it anyway. So for this video, I am teaming up with Printful to make these delusions come true. So what is Printful and why are they enabling me? Printful is a print-on-demand company that does all their printing in-house and has worked with brands like Coca-Cola, Spotify, MTV, and CBS, so they'll definitely have the experience and resources to get your merch needs taken care of. What is print-on-demand, you ask? Well, it's exactly how it sounds. You print the products as soon as you get an order, so you don't need to worry about storage or delivery. You get an order, they make it for you, they ship it, and you get profit. This also means that there's 0 upfront costs for you when you want to start selling, which also means 0 financial risk because you're not sinking any capital to start your business. You pay when you get an order, and that way your expenses are immediately covered by the sale. I'm choosing to do this with Printful because I've been using their services to sell my own art prints for the past year or so, and so far everyone who has received their orders has been very pleased, so I know their quality is up to par. There's never been a delay on shipping time. Everything arrives in order, safe, and high quality. It also helps a lot as someone outside of the US who is looking to sell to their US audience, because in case you guys didn't know, most of you watching my video are actually either American or from the UK, which also goes for a majority of Epic fans, which helps me get around things like the tariffs or logistics like shipping and storage, because Printful's production and warehouses are all based in the US. Which means if you're maybe interested in some of these designs and want to get your hands on them, and you're based in the US or even anywhere else in the world, you can. I do want them to be as accessible as possible, so for all the designs I make in this video, I will be pricing them as close to their exact production cost as possible, because I don't want to really profit off of non-official merchandise for a production I enjoy, which also hopefully means it will be within a reasonable budget for you guys if you do want to get it. So here's the game plan. I'll pick 5 types of merch that I wish were on offer. I'll come up with designs for said merch based on my personal favorite songs or concepts from the musical. I'll list it on my Etsy store, and then I'll not profit because, like I said, I'll be pricing these items as close to their exact production cost as I can. But most importantly, I'll be getting your feedback. So be sure to leave a comment down below about what you think. Now let's get started. So this is my Printful dashboard. As I've said, I've been using it for a while, and I personally have my Printful connected to an Etsy store. So that's the platform that I'm selling on. And these are all the things I am selling on my store. However, not all of these listings are active because Etsy has this thing where you have to renew your listings every few months or so for like a small fee. What you're looking at here are all the inactive listings that I have. But if you don't want to sell on Etsy, you don't have to, because Printful can also connect to a bunch of different online marketplaces as well. It just depends on your preference. I chose Etsy because that's where all the Etsy witches are, and I want to be where they are, so that's why I'm there. Then now let's actually get to picking the products we want. So I'm just kind of browsing around these categories to see what catches my eye. I have a few ideas that I already want to do, and for one of them, it was definitely a bag, and funnily enough, it was not for a wind bag.
The wind bag,
which is quite a central plot point to Epic the Musical, but rather a messenger bag or something similar to that, as an homage to Hermes, because I thought it would have been a fun design. And so I was kind of looking around to see if there were anything that vaguely resembled a messenger bag that I could have my design on, and unfortunately I couldn't really find what I was looking for. And I don't know if it would be possible to design such a bespoke messenger bag for a reasonable price anyway, so I kind of moved on to shoes, because I guess I'm still on a Hermes kick, because I thought it would be cool to design like winged shoes or something. And I kind of gave up on that pretty fast because it was not that affordable, and so I went for the next best thing, which were socks. And these I thought were much more affordable and feasible, and probably, I don't know, cuter, because you could wear them anywhere you wanted. You could wear them with any shoes you wanted, or even just around the house in bed, you know. So I decided to grab those. And another thing that I usually like to buy personally are phone cases, so I thought it might be fun to have an Epic themed phone case. And this was actually a pretty good call because they were all pretty affordable, especially the clear case ones. So it's definitely considering the phone cases as well. And I also went back on the bag section because I still wanted to do a similar idea to what I had in mind. I looked at this tote bag because I thought it looked really nice, and it was also the cheapest available tote bag there. But thinking back on it now, I think I would probably go back and also do another design with the all-over print, because my idea for a Hermes messenger bag is still floating around in my head. So I might do that later on. You guys can go check my store if you want to see that. But if you guys want to see the materials and like the specifications of the products, you can see that in the description here, as well as file guidelines for how big you need to make your drawing, and we'll work on that in another segment. The next thing I wanted to do for sure was definitely patches. I thought that's such a fun idea that you can stick on to your bag or your pants or shirts or whatever. And pins, of course. These are just the quintessential Artist Alley merch that I'm looking at the moment. Because in case you guys didn't know, I'm quite an Artist Alley connoisseur. Another thing I also wanted to do were hats, but they were pretty pricey, so I didn't end up getting any hats for my merch designs, even though, I don't know, Hermes is just so marketable. It's so easy to make merch of him. I don't know, guys, but I didn't end up doing it because I don't know if you would want to pay this much for silly knockoff merch that some YouTuber made. I also wanted to look at some stickers. Obviously, there is already a sticker pack available on the website if you want them, but I think he could have been a bit more creative with the designs, so I thought maybe why not make some of my own as well, because they're fun, they're easy, they're affordable, and you know, you can just slap them anywhere. And of course, we've got apparel, and obviously I wanted to do a t-shirt because I felt that it's a daily wear kind of thing, so you could just style it with anything you wanted. And I'm really glad that I made that call over doing hoodies, because these are so affordable. I mean, all under $10. I think that's a pretty good deal. But the only problem is that I wasn't sure if the shirts available could accommodate the design that I had, because my design was to do an all-over print, which would make your shirt look like a different shirt. Basically, the idea was to do like a ketone design inspired by Odysseus, Telemachus, and Penelope, and even Athena. But when I looked into the file guidelines, unfortunately none of them really accommodated for like full all over print, so I had to do a different idea, but I for sure wanted to do it. And I also thought about doing prints, but then I thought about how much time I could actually accommodate for this idea, considering I was working on this amidst a bunch of different exams. In case you guys didn't know, I'm actually in medical school, you know, really walking in Jay's footsteps right now. But for now, I've decided to skip the prints because I wanted to do something particularly nice that you would want to put up on your wall, instead of like more simple designs that is more accommodating for bags and apparel. I also thought about doing mugs, but I tend to prefer mugs that have more character to it. Like if a mug has a drawing of something that I liked, but the mug itself is not interesting in shape, I wouldn't get it. And none of these mugs were really speaking to me. So even though they were pretty affordable, I decided not to do it because I wanted something with a bit more character. But yeah, these are all the items that I decided to pick. So I'm going for the socks, I'm going for the phone case, which comes in a bunch of different varieties for them, iPhone specifically, but if you guys are a Samsung user, let me know in the comments below and maybe I'll add a Samsung one too. And of course we're doing the tote bag and the patches. I was also really considering doing the bucket hat for a hot minute, but I decided against it, and I for sure was doing the shirt. So that's what we're going with for the 5 merch of choice that we're gonna be making designs for. So now that I've decided on my 5 items, I realized here that I'm the type of person who prefers practical merch, just because that way it's easier for me to justify the purchase. Well, hopefully you guys are kind of the same way, or are at least on the same wavelength that I am. Though, if you have any more merch suggestions, feel free to leave it in the comments below, and maybe we can do more of these videos for other things too. I tried to pick the variants that had the lowest price points as well, because this was just meant to showcase some ideas Jay could do for merch if he wanted to. And here we have all the templates for my lovely merch to make sure everything aligns right. Now let's get to designing. So let's start with the socks. The idea I had for the sock was two things. First was just a standard Greek sandal, but with the comfort of socks, because they're actually socks and it's more like an optical illusion with the print. And the other one, as I've mentioned before, will be winged sandals to make you look like you got Hermes sandals but you can wear around. And it's pretty simple because Printful already provides you with a template with the appropriate size. I'm basically just using the file they provided here. It's a pretty simple design. It's just meant to be, I don't know, a bit optical illusion-y. I don't know. But that was the simple template. And for the Hermes sandals, I'm going to be using the advanced template, which gives you 4 different boxes that you can fill in, and what these boxes will do is basically allow you to customize what the left and right sides of the sock look like, as well as the individual socks. So if you want to have like a different complementary design instead of like just a replica on each side, you can do this. And I'm just using the advanced template for Hermes sandals because I want to make sure that the wings are flipped appropriately and for the straps to align appropriately as well. I'm trying my best to keep the design within the dashed lines because I don't know how it will look on the sock really until I upload it onto Printful's design maker and see how it goes basically. Next up was the design that I'm the most excited about, but also at the same time the design I'm most daunted by because, as you guys know, I love God Games. It's probably my favorite song from the entire Epic discography, and that's because it includes a lot of the other gods as well. Because for me personally, I don't really give a damn about the humans in most Greek mythology. I only care about what the gods are up to. They're the cool ones, at least to me. So in this design, I wanted to be able to showcase every god involved in God Games, including Athena, who is the centerpiece here as our challenger. And of course, we're going to have Apollo, Hephaestus, Hera, Zeus, Ares, and Aphrodite. Now, I was daunted because on one hand, it's a pretty complex design with multiple characters, and I really didn't want to overcomplicate it because I'm looking for more of a sleek silhouette to go on the design as opposed to, say, a full illustration. I personally don't enjoy full illustrations being on shirts. I don't know, it's just a thing. I prefer more stylized and simplified designs for shirts because I just think it looks cooler that way. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this design as well. I'm just trying to focus on the silhouettes and how it would look once I block everything out. And here I also kind of had to come up with designs for several of the gods on the fly because so far I've only really created designs for Apollo and Aphrodite because those are the 2 gods that I've currently done segments for in God Games. So, I mean, wish me luck. I think I'm kind of following the standard mold for most Athena designs here, just trying to focus more on her warlike aspects, especially since she's kind of going to battle in this song. I think I'll probably do like a proper design for Athena later on, because in case you guys didn't know, I've actually done a series creating my own god designs for Epic the Musical. So far I've done Apollo and Hermes. So if you'd also like to see one for Athena, Hephaestus, Ares, and I guess a full video on Aphrodite, since I've only really animated her in her segment of God Games, but not really given her a dedicated video, let me know in the comments below. And for Apollo, it was really simple because I already had his design, and you guys may know that I draw him a lot, so his portrait was pretty easy for me to complete. For Hephaestus, I kind of tried to lean on the idea that he is not really the most like extravagant looking Greek god, but even by human standards he's still supposed to be like extremely beautiful, but just by God standards, you know, he's a bit behind. But anyway, I still wanted him to look cool, and I wasn't really sure how I could portray that this is him, because the only notable feature he was mentioned to have is a crippled leg, and I can't necessarily show his leg here, so I decided to give him like this cool looking steampunk pauldron as maybe, I don't know, reinforcement for his blacksmithing. And for Hera, it's quite simple for me. I just wanted her to look regal and queenly, and to represent her status as the Queen of Olympus, I also gave her a little crown made of peacock feathers. For Zeus, this was actually quite fun and went by easier than I expected. Watch me eat my words later on once I start coloring. But basically, I just made him look quite similar to his sons. I've depicted Apollo and Hermes with quite curly hair, so I've also given him curly hair, which I think works in Zeus's favor because they look like clouds, and you know, he is the god of the sky and thunder and storms, so I think that works out. Ares, I basically just gave him the same hair texture but short because he is the soldier, he's the war god, so it would be more practical for him just to keep it short, and also to put more emphasis on his masculinity as well. So I kind of detailed his body a bit more than the others. And for Aphrodite, I basically just reused the design I had for God Games, and that was pretty much it. I ended up giving Zeus his thunderbolt in place of his laurel crown, and a sword for Ares to represent his warlike nature. And I even considered giving him a helmet as well, but I didn't wanna cover up his hair, so I decided against that in the end. And now I'm just starting to kind of line everything and tidy up the outlines to help me color in a bit easier later on. And in the meanwhile, let me tell you guys some fun facts about kind of Greek language and Indonesian language, because there's actually a huge overlap in pronunciation, and I think this goes for other kind of European languages as well. Like, I know the way we pronounce IKEA, which is IKEA, is actually closer to Swedish than the English pronunciation of it. And the same actually goes for the names of the Greek gods as well. So I know I've been pronouncing their names in the popular English pronunciations, but actually the way I would pronounce it in Indonesian is closer to how they would actually be pronounced in Greek. So for example, Athena, I would pronounce as Athena, which is very close to how it's also pronounced in Greek, which is Athena. Same with Apollo. That's how I would say it in English, but if I were to say it in an Indonesian accent, it would be Apollo, which is close to the Greek pronunciation of Apollon if you pronounce it with an N. But I don't know, I guess we would have different inflections, but the vowels are pronounced kind of the same way. If I were to pronounce it with an Indonesian inflection, it would be Apollo, Apollo. I'm just saying his name. And, in Greek, it would be Apollon. I don't know. It has a bit of like a pizzazz to it. I don't know. And for Hephaestus, I would pronounce it as Hephaestus. And I think the Greek pronunciation is something close to that, but I'm not sure what it is, so I'll probably play a clip that pronounces it properly.
Ήθεστος.
And the same goes for Hera, which I would pronounce as Hera or Hera in Greek, and Zeus, which is Zeus as well. And Ares, which I would pronounce in Indonesian as Ares, and I think that's quite close. I just pronounced it with a Greek accent. I don't know. Indonesian is so much lamer. It would just be like Ares. I don't know. Not without the fancy inflections or anything. And Aphrodite, which is actually the most interesting of the pronunciations, is actually pronounced in Greek as Aphrodite. And I don't know if Indonesians will pronounce it that way based on how it's written, because Indonesian is a very straightforward language where how it's written is exactly how it's pronounced. Like, there's no hidden syllables, there's no silent letters or things like that. So if I, as an Indonesian, were to read the name Aphrodite in Latin alphabet, it would be Aphrodite, because the E would not be pronounced as an I for me. And yeah, I just thought that was a pretty fun fact for you guys. And my name... Do I need to bring that up? My name is also coincidentally Greek. And I don't know if that's just always been my destiny. And also my father is named Troy. And I don't mind saying that because it's such a... You'll never find him. Because I don't even know how to find him either. So if you could do it for me, I'd actually appreciate it. So anyway, well, is this just my thing now? Is this just my destiny as Greek myth? Maybe. I use a lot of Greek in medical school as well. So many medical terms are derived from Greek words. And sometimes it's Latin, and I don't know, I guess physicians of old who were pretentious in that if they used a Greek or Latin word, they felt more sophisticated or something. I don't know. But now I'm also learning Greek because of my medical curriculum. And yeah, this is just my coloring process for the concept art. Like I said, I'm mostly just filling in with block colors to keep it simple and stylistic. But really, you're gonna see in a minute that the the coloration for the god that really made me struggle the most is Zeus, because I wanted for his hair to be filled in and his skin to not be, and I considered the possibility of putting this design on a light colored shirt and a black shirt. So in the black shirt design, which is where I will have all these colors, I will obviously have the skin as transparent so that the color of the shirt will be able to be seen through the design, and his hair will be colored in like this. But if I were to do it on a light shirt, I would need to switch it in so that his skin is actually the one that is filled in with color and his hair is not. And this kind of threw me for a loop for a good hot minute because I was discombobulated by how this was gonna work actually. But luckily you won't be seeing that here. I didn't record it to spare your sanity. Don't worry, let me worry about that. But in the end, I was really proud of how this turned out actually. This looked really cool. It kind of looks like the paintings that you would have in ancient Greek pottery a little bit, at least to me. I don't know if I'm just making that up for myself. But let me know what you think. This next one I'm doing is for a shirt design, and I wanted to do something more reminiscent of classical Odyssey book covers, which often depicts the boat, Odysseus's boat, at sea. But I wanted to incorporate Poseidon into this particular art piece because he plays such a major obstacle for Odysseus getting home. And I thought it would be a fun sort of symbolism as well to have Poseidon actually kind of be the sea that he's sailing on, which is the very thing that Odysseus needs to traverse in order to get home, which I don't know if it's even symbolism, if it is taken quite literally to be that way in the story and the myths itself. So I just thought it would be fun to be able to visualize that. I actually had to look up what an ancient Greek ship looked like, and it's a fun concept. I think they purposely shaped it to look like a fish of some kind, or at least how old maps used to draw like sea monsters on their maps when they're voyaging. It kind of looks like that to me, and maybe, that is the inspiration. But I was quite proud of how it turned out. It looked a lot nicer than I was worried it would look. So yeah, I tried toying around with different background effects. I thought about drawing the island of Ithaca, but I decided on thunderstorms instead as a reference to Zeus as well, being one of the other obstacles to Odysseus's voyage home. And I wanted to keep the color palette as limited as possible for extra stylistic choice, I guess. I don't know. I kind of just wanted it to be simple and put the shape language first in this design, just like the previous God game splash art. I don't know if that counts as splash art. Just art, I guess. And this was really fun, especially the part where I got to kind of block out and fill in the line art color and make it invisible. It just really came together, and I was super pleased with it. I was a bit worried about how I was gonna do the same for the boat. I always think in ways that I could maximize my time versus effort. So I just tried to give myself an easy time as I can because I do have such limited time. Hey, fun fact, I actually have another really big exam coming up next week. So let's see if I can finish this video and also study for that and pass at the same time. And if you're feeling anxious, I guess that makes one of us. For the patches, I decided to do some designs of Odysseus and Penelope. I actually thought about doing Telemachus as well to kind of complete the Ithaca royal family, but I realized I actually didn't have to do that much. I didn't have to be doing all that, so I didn't. I decided to only focus on the king and queen, the royal couple, the it couple of the entire epic the musical. I'm just putting them on screen at the same time, just for efficiency's sake, and I don't know, maybe it'll be more interesting to look at than just one drawing. So for Penelope, there are some sources that cite her as being half nymph, I believe, from her mother's side. So I decided to incorporate that through her more elvish ears. And I think it's also plot relevant because Penelope is said to still be as beautiful through the years as when she first married Odysseus. Like, her youth and beauty clearly didn't leave her. So I like to think that maybe that was part of the nymph blood in her, giving her a much longer longevity. And for Odysseus, I actually enjoyed designing him a lot more than I thought I would. You know what my stance is on the humans in most Greek myth retellings. I don't know if the Odyssey counts as a Greek myth as much as it is a very famous fictional work by a very famous Greek author. But in any case, I thought I would be bored by him, but he's actually pretty okay. He's fun. I'm not really doing anything revolutionary with either designs. It's just very recognizable to what the fandom has already established, which I think is the point for if I'm making merchandise for them. But yeah, I'm actually really happy with how these came out. For the backgrounds, I decided to do their wedding bed for Penelope as an homage to "Would you fall in love with me again?" And of course, the sea and the boats for Odysseus. What else? And now that we have all the designs done, we get to do the fun part. Actually putting it on the products and seeing what it'll actually look like as merch. Let's dive right into that. Alright, so let's start with the socks that we've designed. For these, you have them in size M, L, and XL, but they do also have specific size guidelines, which I will be posting up on my Etsy store. Now, for the two sock designs, I'm going to be using the basic and the advanced template. And for both, all you really have to do is to just upload the design that you already made. And for me, that will be the basic template first, which you can press the upload button, or you can just drag and drop it onto the file library or directly onto the previous page as well. That'll quickly upload, and then once you have it, you can just click apply and it automatically imports your design, and it should already be the perfect file size because you would have used the template like I did. And then you can go straight to the basic mockups, where they'll give you a bunch of really nice pictures to showcase the product. And the design didn't really appear immediately for this one, but it will appear afterwards, so don't worry about that. And now we can just make the title for the product, and for this one I'm just typing up Greek sandal pattern socks and just being a bit unserious with the description as well, because I don't know, this entire video is unserious for me. Like, what am I even doing? Does anybody care? No, but I'm doing it anyway because I guess I care a bit too much. But yeah, these are the sizing guides that you can also include in your store later on. And once you're happy with your description and everything, just click continue and set your price. Like I said, I will be setting it as close to the production price as possible without the whole thing turning red, because I'm not looking to lose money. I'm just looking to be a bit silly, so let's not punish me financially for it. So yeah, and once you're all happy with the pricing, you can just go ahead and click continue, and you have your product added to your catalog. As easy as that. Now we're gonna go back and do our advanced template. It's the same thing, you just gotta select your product, upload your design, and that pretty much does everything. And for this one, I decided to do the custom mockup, so I can pick my own background, and I can even like pick the decorations I want to add in it. I can play around with the colors and everything, and it's super customizable. And for this one, I just decided to make a little scene where it looks like you're in the valleys or like the wilds of Greece somewhere. Because, you know, Hermes is the traveler god as well as being the messenger god, and that was the inspiration for that. And so you can definitely play around with this a lot, depending on your artistic vision for your product. Printful gives you a lot of control. It's really simple and easy, and honestly, this part for me was so much fun and so satisfying to be able to see how it actually looks on a product, because you can kind of visualize it in your head, but you won't know for sure until it's actually on the product. And here are the products and the full mock-ups that you can then add onto your online store, and it looks amazing and it looks like it was professionally made. And if you guys like this design, you can get it on my Etsy store, which is going to be linked in the description. But let's move on to the next merch design. Next up, we are doing the tote bags. So you guys, I have only seen the colorful version for the black tote, but for the sand colored tote here, I also made an alternate design, which is, I guess, more one color that's supposed to look like terracotta or something like an ancient painted vase. And I'm just gonna upload both quickly onto the file library here. And once that's uploaded, I'm just gonna quickly apply that. So the first one I'm gonna be doing is the one tone design, which you guys haven't seen yet, and just look at how cool that looks. It looks exactly the way I hoped, and you can also like adjust the size, but as you can see, if you make it too big, it kind of crops out of the printable zone, unfortunately. So I might try again with more designs on the all over tote, but that does cost quite a bit. So, you know, let me know if you guys would be interested in more designs from me, if anyone cares. In any case, once I'm happy with that, I just clicked continue. And for this one, I think I'm just gonna go with a basic mock-up, and there's already a really good bunch of pre-prepared images here with my design printed on already. And the fun thing about this is that you can actually add on as many angles as you want here. I'm just picking a few that I personally like, that I think showcases my design in the most flattering angles that would interest me personally. And once I have all my files selected, I can press continue and go straight into the same old, your description and title. And now what we're gonna do is actually add a variant, because unlike the socks, which only come in one color, the tote comes in two colors. So instead of having two separate files, I'm just going to add a variant to the pre-existing product and go from there. You just select the new color you want to add, and for each color that you can have a different design, which is exactly what we're going to be doing here. And bam, there we go. You got to delete the previous layer though, because otherwise it'll still come through. But look at how amazing that is. That's like genuinely cool. Like I would get that for myself, no joke. So, you know, I might just go do that right after this video. And once you have all your mock-ups set up, you can just click continue and it'll automatically add that variant to your product listing. And that's pretty much it. Here are the final designs on the products. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know which color variant you guys prefer. And let's just keep it pushing. On to the next product. Now, the next thing we're doing are the shirts, and for this particular merch line, we're gonna have two designs. So the first design is obviously the Odysseus Sea Voyage design I made, but I'm also going to be reusing my two God Game designs on the shirts because, I don't know, I was really proud of how it turned out, and I think it would have made a really cool shirt design as well, so we're gonna be doing that. It's a similar concept to the tote bag, you just insert the image, but for particular shirts like this one, you can actually customize the design you want on the front, back, sleeves, and the inside and outside label. Now, for me, I decided to do the God Games design on the back because I just thought it'd be a really cool kind of surprise thing if you were wearing a jacket and you took it off and it's just like bam, this huge splash design on the back, and the front part can be something more minimalistic like the Epic logo itself, because I prefer those kinds of shirts where it's like work on the front, party at the back, like a mullet. And for the sleeve, I try to replicate the hourglass design for the Wisdom Saga to represent Athena. And I didn't actually draw this by hand, but I actually went through the clip art gallery that Printful has, and it actually still turned out really cute. And I'm really happy with how it looks, just to add a bit of flair to this design. I don't know, I like it when shirts also have designs on the sleeves. I think that's really cool, and it just helps to kind of put a bit more bang for your buck, because it is actually an additional $2.49 as well, depending on if you want to have additional designs on, say, the back or the sleeves, which I'm definitely doing here. And once that was all done, I clicked continue, made my mock-ups as usual, and that was pretty much it. The process is pretty much the same for the other variant as well as the Ruthlessness shirt, which funnily enough, considering that was the main design for the shirt, I actually didn't record the process of, but you get the idea. Anyway, here is how they look. I think it looks really dope, really sick. But I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I have bad taste. I don't know, let me know in the comments below. I also did these designs for the phone cases. I could have probably created a custom design as well, but I was running out of time and I'm really happy with how these designs looked, and I'm sure a lot of you would also prefer to have these designs be wearable in several different product types. So let me know what you think about that as well. And finally, we have the patches. Now, the patches for me were the most interesting to design, and that's because unlike the previous merch items, which are printed onto the products themselves, these patches will be embroidered on. So you actually have a pretty limited amount of colors to work with based on the available thread colors. And that posed quite a bit of a problem for me for certain designs at certain points. And this was kind of a really new experience because when I uploaded the design, I kind of just imagined it would be pretty close to how it would look in my design, but what the patch design in particular does, it actually changes the colors completely in order to match to the available thread colors, and you can only pick a maximum of 6 colors, which kind of as you can see really affected my Penelope patch design. It kind of threw me for a loop as I tried to find the color combination that worked the best for this particular patch color. And I don't know why I didn't just go back and recolor things with less colors, ideally 6, using the available threads there. But it was late, I was stubborn, and I just wanted to get it done. So I just went with what I had. And the same also went for the Odysseus patch, which actually ended up doing a lot better than the Penelope one just because it had a lot more similar-ish colors, though I don't understand why it decided to conflate the color of the waves with Odysseus's hair, but you know, I guess that's something I can work on before you guys actually start ordering it. But this was definitely an adventure and an experience, but in any case, this is how it turned out for the patches. Definitely could use a bit of work before it's customer ready. But because I do really like these designs, I also decided to make them into stickers. And I think this design just looks a lot better on the stickers compared to the patches. So here are the items that you can now purchase from my shop if you want to. I forgot that I'm having a New Year's sale at the moment, which takes 25% off from every item I have available, which means I'll actually be losing money if you buy something from this line right now. So on second thought, maybe don't buy anything until the sale is over. I actually think I kind of bit off more than I could chew with this video, or rather, I think I got a little too ambitious with all the things I wanted to do, and even then, I was still thinking of even more merch ideas I wanted to design as I was working on these designs. Unfortunately, for what is available in Printful shop, I couldn't really implement some of the ideas I did have, which is unfortunate, but I'm really glad to be able to do these designs that we do have. So really, I just had to tell myself to stop at one point because these are just prototypes and I don't even know if people would even care, but here we are. But as you guys have seen, Printful still offers such a wide catalog of things you could possibly make merch from, even if it's just for yourself. So the possibilities are truly endless, and there's a very big chance that whatever product you want to be selling, they already have it. I'm definitely already thinking of more merch ideas I want to do, like cute stickers of the characters. So if you guys want to see that, comment down below and let's get this video to Jorge Rivera Herons. Chop chop. So in conclusion, please hire me. Anyway, that's all from me. If you made it this far, thanks for hanging out in my channel for a while. I hope your skin didn't get too pruny. Big shout out to my lovely sea bunnies on Patreon. If you want to become a sea bunny and get extra perks like a free commission from me, join my Patreon. If you want to see more from me, then please follow me on all my social media. If you want to submit fan art or chat with me, join my Discord server. And if you want more of my stories, check out my Wild Word series here on YouTube because that will make me really happy. All the links are in my description and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!